Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another one of these Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 casts. We've got two great pro players here today, and I definitely had to, had to redo this intro because I just defaulted to saying 1v1 AI cast. But no, we actually have two of the world's best players here today on the map. Site Delta, a PvZ or ZVP, whatever way you want to look at it, and we've got none other than Serral in the top right-hand side of the map. And taking on Serral is going to be the smiling assassin. It's herO, who has been just a top-tier player for a long time in StarCraft 2. This guy has, he was a top player literally 10 years ago. BlizzCon 2014, he was doing well. He was really killing it in Pro League and stuff. And the fact that he's still arguably one of the best Korean players is incredible. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know this isn't the usual kind of video we see on this channel, but I do like to say variety is the spice of life. So if we can hit 25 likes on this video, that would be amazing. And leave a comment down below saying whatever you like to help out with that YouTube algorithm. Say more bots, more pro matches. I am hoping to get my hands on some of the Pro 2v2 replays because I think those are fun. And maybe when I'm back home or have a more regular setup, do some more matches of me playing against bots. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. And then just, yeah, subscribe, comment, like, join the Discord, which is linked down below. And if you're wondering why I'm just rambling on and not talking about the game, it's because we've got fairly standard openings from these guys. We've got double queens coming out of Serral, link speed on the way, and then he's pulled out a gas at that perfect 0 gas mark, not mining a single bit more gas than he needs, all the while herO is getting up just that gateway into Stargate. And then an adept, well, one adept out, soon to be another one. We'll see if he's going to go for maybe some kind of resonating glaives build. That's something that guys like herO can bust out to get cheeky wins, as Serral is one of the best Zerg players, the best Zerg late game player, and Serral is the best Zerg player. I shouldn't say one of the best. He's just incredibly good in the late game. So herO may want to try and bring down Serral in the early game here, if he can. And adept timings definitely are a way to do that. We'll see how well herO's going to micro this Oracle once that pops out. He's also poking with his adepts. These guys are doing so many things at once, and so far doing them all right. herO, he's poking in with the adepts and looking to shade out, just looking for any free damage he can get. Serral pulls back his lings. He refuses to lose even a single ling to those adepts. herO will have to be careful with those adepts now, though, as Serral has made a few more than usual with 10, and ling speed is done. So, yeah, I think those adepts are going to want to skedaddle on home as soon as possible. A queen even getting shots on one of them from the high ground. I am a little bit concerned about these adepts because one of them does have basically no shields left after that altercation, I'll say, with the queens. And then Serral just squeezing out drones, so having the perfect defense so far, but herO's still... So we've got herO just continuously poking Serral. Serral does have to invest in a couple of spore crawlers now, because he's got to just pay that due. Otherwise, you will just take damage. If Zerg could defend with just queens against 2 oracles, they would. However, yeah, herO still not really finding too much damage. herO actually activates the pulsar beams, targets down that geyser, so he can actually get a drone kill. Gets a second one. That drone potentially could have ran and been saved, but Serral obviously busy microing elsewhere, and herO does skirt the oracles around to get 4 drone kills in total. He wants 1 more with this other oracle. Actually gets 2 more. Very good oracle micro from herO. However, now the oracles are going to have to hang out in that corner. And we've got a 3rd oracle coming on in. Lots of drones are running in a panic away from that. Pardon my observing there for a second, as I just have to make sure everything's recording a-okay. On the other side of the map, we haven't really had anything go on. It's the only thing that's died this game have been those 6 drones from the Oracles, and that's kind of middle of the road. It's not great, it's not terrible. You guys know what fall is that saying. And then we have got, yeah, Serral just squeezing out as many drones as he can while herO is powering up, getting out Blink, getting out +1 weapons, so his Stalkers will pack a punch when they're out. And we'll see if he's going to go for like Blink, utilize the Oracles. herO has ended up with a bit of an odd number of Adepts as he just pokes into the main base, realizing Serral, hey, maybe you don't have quite enough Zerglings to deal with this. However, it looks like Serral with the Queens, with the Lings, will get on top of these Adepts. We do see a Stasis Ward get tossed down during this, but herO doesn't really manage to target down any workers during that. Now let's take a look here. We've got a Photon Cannon and a shield battery going up for herO as he locks down that 3rd base. The best Zergs like Serral will always go for things like that. I'll go for Ling run-bys, that is. herO now has his Oracles all grouped up, however he's got to be careful with them or he might not have as big of a group. herO really is one of the Protoss players that seems to like building the extra Oracles the most, so I imagine if he did lose one of those, he probably would replace it, so he definitely doesn't want to have to spend that money if he doesn't need to. And then herO just getting out +1 armor, charge on the way, forge, or a 2nd forge, so he can really try and maintain good upgrades. That kind of indicates that he is going to be going for this heavy gateway style if the mass gateways and stalkers he's building aren't enough of a giveaway. herO does a great job targeting down one of those roaches with the stalkers, realizing, oh, I could get 1 Ling, or I could potentially get multiple, or I could potentially get 1 roach, which is a lot more value. A Stasis Ward prevented Serral going for that surround on the stalkers. The Oracles are an invaluable tool when it comes to allowing herO to have that map presence. herO even cleans up some creep, then gets on top of the Zerglings. That is so well done. We are seeing Serral sharking about on the map with his Lings. He's now queuing up a run-by, aiming to potentially get this 4th base. There's a couple of Stalkers, or 3 Stalkers in total, to try and defend this, although these players are busy on the map. Oracles looks like they grabbed a few drones. Looks like these Lings will cancel a shield battery or 2. Actually, all of the static defense that was building there, so herO will have to replace that as soon as possible. Serral's probably going to want to try and come in on that base again if he can. If you can just keep hitting that base and denying the Protoss from getting really comfortable, that's good, but it does look like herO's going to be putting all the pressure on Serral now. As he goes for an attack, he gets a Queen, he retreats to a Stasis Ward, and Serral immediately has to turn around. Serral's getting out Hydras, though, which will trade out much better once they do have this Evolved Groove Spines and +1 attack. For now, though, Serral is kind of still just chilling out, getting out Lurkers, too, as soon as that Lurker den is done. So Hydra, Lurker, Ling to deal with just this mass Stalker composition of herO. herO really isn't spending a ton on Zealots. He isn't making too many units right now, as he's teching up, getting out Psystorm, getting out a Prism, getting out +2 attack, and then extra gateways going on up too. Now he's starting, he's really getting up a lot of these gateways. Now he's starting to make some Zealots, get out those Archons. He may be looking for a kill move on Serral. It's not going to be easy to get, though, as there is these Lurkers at that 4th base. A Nidus Worm is on the way for Serral now as well, so he can potentially get some counterattack damage done. So far, herO has been pretty solid in his defense. He's lost 2 probes and a cannon. Other than that, he's really just been the one putting the pressure on Serral, which is what you want to do as the Protoss player. The best offense, or the best defense, is a good offense. Pardon me as I butcher that quote. Psystorm is now done, though, for herO, and Storm is incredibly good against pretty much all Zerg units. It's going to prevent Serral from really collapsing on top of this army, and looks like herO is just getting some really good damage done by positioning his army outside of the range of those Lurkers, grabbing the 5th base, and leaving this game on a 4-base versus 4-base scenario. The Oracles are still alive, although flying close to the sun, and herO's getting ready to pull back. Now he throws up a fleet beacon, realizing, right, this Zerg isn't dead. He's still in the game, so I'm going to have to get ready for what comes next. That is going to be a fleet beacon, potentially for a mothership, or we could see him go into carriers and whatnot later on. For now, though, herO really is going hard on the ground army. He's got those heavy-hitting 3-2 upgrades on the way, which are actually going to be really big for him. 6 photon cannons, just literally a wall of cannons going up. No gateways in that wall, just cannons to defend. Meanwhile, we have a Nidus worm going on up inside the main base of herO. We'll see if he reacts to it. There is a Zealot Warpin to get on top of that. You have a little bit of time as Protoss to deal with that before the Flood of Zerg comes out of it. It's like one Queen pops out, a Transfuse goes down, but the Nidus network will actually not get up. So we'll see if Serral's going to try and do that again right away. He's got a Ling run-by queued up towards the 5th base. He's using a Nidus to help him bounce between his bases as well, as he is having a hard time with this defensive play. He at least shuts down herO's attempt at a 5th base, because Serral hasn't been able to get up his own 5th base. That's very important, and both these players are kind of splitting their forces up a little bit. Serral catches an Immortal, that's very nice. The cannons from herO and the battery are just a little bit too far away to defend that. We've now got a Nidus going on up just between the 3rd and the natural base. Does herO see this? No, he doesn't. And so the Protoss player is going to be frantically looking around, wondering where's that Nidus, or is it just another one at one of your bases? herO does come on in, though. He actually snipes down a Nidus worm at the 4th base, so Serral kind of has his attention diverted, but then he does squeeze out 5 lurkers. All of a sudden, they're on top of this production of the Protoss player. herO is going to have a hard time dealing with this, and as he pulls away from the front lines, this could free Serral up to attack elsewhere. Serral hasn't sent anything else, or pardon me, he sent all his queens through that Nidus. Cloak is being used by herO to prevent the attack on that. Looks like the oracles did all go down, though. Miss Microed flying over the queens. herO's trying to clean this up, and it looks like he'll be able to, but he's going to have to replace his Cyber Core. And actually, maybe no, he's not. These queens are actually dealing so much damage to this mothership. And then the Psystorm, oh, it actually injures the mothership, and herO kills his own mothership. He at least gets the Nidus and cleans it up. He prevents a 5th base for Serral while this is going on, and he did actually kill the 3rd base at some point during that. Pardon my observing for missing that. herO's still, though, unable to get up a 5th base, so while he's knocked Serral down on bases, he's got to watch his own economy. Serral's got a pretty decent bank to his name, and the supply is actually drastically in favor of Serral, so herO has lost quite a bit cleaning up that attack. I guess he lost a lot of his stalkers, possibly in that attack towards the 3rd base, so herO's really got to just hunker down for a minute, maybe go for some pickoffs or attack Serral. Just anything but a direct fight, basically. We see a couple Psystorms get utilized, but they're nothing massive. A Nidus towards the 5th base, as herO still is unable to secure that. Now we're seeing Serral have to build 2 hatcheries at once, but if both of these get up, he will have that 5 to 4 bases. We see these Zealots for herO. I'm willing to bet they're heading towards that northern position there. Serral should be able to predict that, and he is repositioning some lurkers. Oh, herO actually changes course with those. But then he sends them back up, so it's tough to say what's going to happen. We've got a Nidus on the left side. The lurkers and hydras are looking to attack this big cannon wall. There's actually no battery there to help defend those cannons. They could really benefit from a single battery behind this, but that's not the case. herO's out of position. He's worried about trying to save his 5th base to actually get that established when he could be about to lose his 4th base. We'll see if there's a recall or not to defend this. Instead, herO's just slowly sauntering his units on over. All those cannons go down without any battery support. The static defense at this base has bought a little bit of time, but not that much. We've now seen the 5th base get cancelled once again. herO's just going to try and turn it around on Serral and go for an attack, and I don't think that's the worst decision in the world, as things really started going south for the Protoss in the last couple minutes when he stopped attacking. So putting the pressure on his opponent may be the answer. One Tempest actually goads Serral into making 11 Corruptors. Now they could be used for Broodlords. We also see, oh man, a recall has to get used to deal with like 8 lurkers, but Serral can just retreat with those, as lurkers are pretty speedy. and they can go into that Nexus. Looks like herO is really trying to catch those lurkers. They are kind of caught out here. We'll see if Serral burrows them or not. No, he doesn't. He's actually just going to lose them all for nothing. That's a nice cleanup for herO. However, he is still down a base now, knocked down to 3 bases at the 15-minute mark. Like, Serral was on 4 bases for an uncomfortable amount of time, but then now he's got 5 bases up. He's going for 6 bases. So while Serral had a poor economy for a bit, herO's having a poor economy for what seems to be a little bit too long. The creep is still here, so there can always just be another Nidus dropped. Serral's queuing units towards that north position. The cannons and batteries are just building now, but they're not going to be done in time to stop these lings. We could be looking at another base cancel if there's no big warp-in for herO, and there isn't going to be a big warp-in as there's no money for herO. He's broke as a joke. He needs to get this 4th base up. If it gets canceled, it will be a dire situation for the Protoss. And herO, he's trying to push on in. He knows he's about to lose that Nexus, so he's trying to get up another one. He did warp in some Zealots, so he is actually going to save this base, which is huge, it looks like. If he can get mining off that, that will really stabilize him. The attempt at the 5th base, I do like it. It's a bit risky, seeing as how his bases have been getting knocked down left, right, and center. But he is putting pressure on the Zerg. Preventing the attacks on him is the important thing. And then look at that. High Templar can get Psystorms off on lurkers without dying, depending on the positioning. But there it is, of course. Ling Run by forces the cancel on that Nexus. Serral sees, yep, still no other base here. So herO is pretty much all in on the defense on the space. Looks like the Protoss is actually going to utilize mass recall in order to get all the Protoss army on top of the 5th base of this Zerg. Now, Serral can afford to lose a base as he's got this one down here. herO cannot. The Protoss does have 1 cannon to help defend this 3rd base Nexus, which is less critical than this 4th base with 42 probes mining at it. That's a bit of oversaturation. Serral is going to need to get drones mining at this base down here, as I mean, his economy is looking really poor now as well. Both players are close to max out though, so this game could come down to one big fight. We'll see. herO's really having a hard time taking yet another base though, and he definitely needs one, as he is leading the worker count on Serral, but he doesn't have any fresh bases really to his name other than this one. He's trying to build a Nexus here, but of course there's a Nidus, so if herO can deal with that, oh man, that probe, it sees all those lurkers coming. This one Archon is going to have a tall order. herO's got to pull back his entire army to deal with this. He's not too far to respond. He could lose so many probes to lurker spines, though. He only loses 1 so far. There is this one lurker, though, still being a pain. Oh, no. Here, okay, it does get dealt with. That could have been really bad for the Protoss player. This base does get cleaned, or the Nidus gets cleaned up, so herO can potentially expand there. Once again, though, Serral has kept the pressure off himself by attacking heroes. He's spending critical resources on building cannons to defend the space. I think that's well worth it, because buying any amount of time is important. He's also splitting up his army. High Templar really prevent the Zerg from pouncing on even smaller portions of the Zerg army. So that does allow herO to split up easier. If he can clean up all this creep, that would be nice. I guess he's lacking an observer over here, though, as there is also a burrowed roach down here. herO sends 2 observers to the bottom side. Even pro players have a hard time managing observers when they're trying to split their army. herO's remaking one of those oracles that he's such a big fan of. That's big because oracles are really good against lurkers. A zealot run-by is being attempted. They will get down to this building base down here. That's really nice. And if he cancels this, that would be big. In StarCraft 2, killing bases is really important, but so is denying them before they even get established. As right now we are looking at a 4 and soon to be 5 base Protoss, it seems, as herO invests in a double expansion. Surely one of those shouldn't be cancelled against a 5 base Zerg. Serral's trying to get up to 6 bases, keep his economy going for longer. And herO is pushing. He's denied the space to the top multiple times. Serral's denied hero's bases multiple times, but we are seeing the Protoss with a minute to breathe. A couple lurkers come on in towards this building 5th base. herO is kind of out of position to deal with this. He's got the Tempest. He's got 2 High Templar with lots of energy, but we are seeing Infestors on the ground. Fungal growth goes down. There's going to be a dive on top of those Tempests. Looks like the Corruptors do kill off one of them, the other barely escapes, but herO has to abandon that 6th base. He's building another one though. We'll see if he can get some counter damage done though. Probably not. Spines and Lurkers are a solid defense here for the Zerg. Transfuse even healing up those Spines. Serral just such an efficient player. And when it comes to efficiency, he is slightly in the lead by 2,000 resources. The bases are even, so it's not really leaning too much one way or the other. But it's really all going to be about who can get up another base in the next minute or so. And oh, Serral moving out with his Corruptors could get a huge move off. Actually forces out the cloak from the mothership, but that doesn't cloak the mothership, so it could very well go down. Here, Serral doesn't really clue in that there's... Well, I guess there was the Archons there as the anti-air, so he didn't want to commit onto those. A wise decision there. herO yet to get up another base. Both players are maxed out. They're building up a little bit of a bank. Serral's got this base in the bottom left. He's going to want to saturate that as soon as possible. And herO is going to want to get another base as soon as possible. Oh, and look at this herO. He finally got this 5th base mining nice and properly. A revelation has to be used as this one lurker denies so much mining. At least the cannon was in range to stop it from killing off probes. Triple Tempest production is going down for herO. And then, let's see, Mass Queens for Serral. Infestors on the way. Both these players are getting close towards the ultimate late game composition. And yeah, more lurkers coming in for Serral. I mean, it could be some okay harassment. It probably won't be any amazing damage since this base is pretty much mined out. If herO could push this creep back, that would be nice for him. It's all over the place. Too much for one revelation to deal with. herO wants the space in the top right. He should build that as soon as he can. As Serral could be taking a bit of a punch here as the Protoss moves in. Serral's a little bit out of position. Most of his army's in the center there, and the Broodlords and Infestors are slower to react than just like the Lurker Hydras are. So if herO goes down south, he could potentially get the space. We see good feedbacks and Psystorms hitting the Corruptors. This is going to allow these Archons, which really are only countered by the Broodlords in Serral's army, to come on in, clean up the space. The drones are burrowing while this is going on, though. We're seeing a single lurker attack that base towards the north, and then there's one that's made it behind this mineral line, getting so many probe kills. So while herO had a great position, all of a sudden Serral comes on in, neural parasites pretty much everything that belongs to the Protoss. herO may get away with a couple of units, but then there's lurkers and spines to the south. The Protoss is pushing on in towards the center location, but this base isn't as critical. If he can get the one to the north there, that would be important. herO's got to be careful, though. He's really down on supply at this point in the game. I mean, Serral just killed off so many resources of the Protoss. So herO, I think... Oh, he actually recalls to deal with that lurker, but oh, he hasn't dealt with it yet. It's got 30 kills on it. There's one killing this Nexus. There's one down here. herO's yet to react, getting the observers there. He may need to use the battery to heal this Nexus. There we go, he's doing that now. He's finally cleaning those up, but that killed so much of herO's economy, and it just goes to show the power of one unattended lurker. herO, I mean, he had lots of static defense at this base, but Serral managed to sneak a lurker by there, and then just one towards the top. That really hurt herO's economy. herO would have been in a great position if he'd been able to shut down that lurker harassment, but then again, there's a lot of things these players both could have done. Those Stalkers run into a bunch of hold position lurkers. Beautiful move by Serral, getting some really efficient pickoffs there, and that is something that herO cannot afford to lose at this point in the game. Not when he's down 50 supply, 50 army supply at that. As herO's actually up on workers compared to his opponent, replacing those, and he's getting his economy back online. The income, if we pull up the income graph, is now tipping in favor of herO, as Serral's just on such a low drone count. But man, he's got to be so careful. herO's making all these Void Rays, but like, there's already a Viper out, there's Mass Queens and Infestors. Void Rays are good. Like, they melt Corruptors, but if there's good Fungals beneath them, I'm really concerned for herO with how a fight will go. And it just looks like there's so much more Zerg, since herO's army is still smaller by about 20 supply. 30 supply, actually. A Zealot run by towards the bottom left. Lurkers really are a great defensive tool for the Zerg, though, pushing those away. And herO, he's gonna just run those Zealots to the north, try and buy a little bit of time. Serral's pushing on in, using that Nidus to be a pain. herO wants to push on in, but that's almost suicide. He goes and gets some nice beatbacks and Psy Storms on top of the Queens. He's got to be careful with this High Templar. There are glass cannons, though, and there is a lot of transfuse on the Queens, so they can actually heal each other up. And yeah, I really don't know what to make of this game at this point. herO is still down on supply. He can make a couple more units. He's unsure of what to make, so he finally squeezes out some Tempest. Serral's really got these two mining bases. herO's got these two bases. So the top right, I mean the top position of the map is really important at this point in the game. That's why we see herO kind of just ignoring this attack down here. Okay. herO killing off some changelings. He's got those mass void rays he's got to be so careful with. A recall actually gets utilized. I'm not sure where to. Oh, he used the mothership once more to get a sneak attack down towards the bottom left. I'm quite concerned, though, that this would allow Serral to swing towards the right as a counter push, and that's exactly what Serral's doing with his Broodlords. But the beauty of Protoss is that you can use your mothership recall and then your Nexus recall, so herO can recall to save those bases if need be. And he basically gets two bases for free just by utilizing those spells. There's lots of drones hiding and running to hide inside this Nidus Swarm. The Nidus, a really powerful tool when used by a player as fast as Serral. And what a game this is between these two. Looks like Lurkers are moving towards the north. There's a couple of cannons, but you need like infinite cannons to take on this many Lurkers, so herO may just recall to deal with that. He's trying to deal with this creep. But there's the recall towards the top right. The Lurkers are going to get on out of town. herO keeps the base mining. He probably wants a bit more static defense, as this game will come down to one army fight, and he wants to fight under batteries and cannons if Serral will attack on into him, which he may be forced to do. It's unfortunate that herO lost his Dark Shrine. There's a couple of DTs down towards this bottom location now would be nice. And Serral still just mining off that one base. He has a decent bank just because he hasn't really been losing that many units. At this point in the game, we see some Lurkers destroy a few Stalkers. Serral attempting to take that base is a bit of a tall order. I don't think herO should fight here, though. I mean, his army is good, but it's really soft. Like, I mean, how many infestors is there? There's 7 infestors, so that's like fungal, neural parasite. There's actually 9 now. And then the Vipers are in there too, and these Void Rays are so soft. There's lots of Immortals on the ground to help deal with the Lurkers, potentially, if need be. I don't know about this attack on in by herO. Immortals are walking on in. They can target down those Lurkers with ease, and then they can potentially kill off this hatchery, and losing this hatchery would be a big economic blow to Serral, and it is a big economic blow, so all of a sudden, Serral is really in a tough position now. herO's got to be careful, though. He needs to manage his army well. Even these Immortals being down in shields is scary. Like, if this big fight happens, when it does, and herO's actually looking for it. Revelation goes down on some of the infestors, but there's a massive fungal growth. High Templar step forward to try and get some big Psy Storms off. Time Warp herO is panicking, throwing down spells, trying to save his army. The parasitic bomb on some of the Void Rays that are still there, grouped up, really hurts the Protoss, and herO takes a poor fight. I'm not sure what Serral lost in there. Maybe a couple of infestors, maybe a couple of Broodlords and Corruptors, but herO's actually stepping forward again. That is so risky. Like, these Void Rays, they're like 1 or 2 spells away from dying now at this point, so herO is making the beefier carriers. I like to see that. He can definitely afford more of these, whereas Serral can't for the time being, as he's just getting these bases back online. Serral will be able to afford more stuff, though, with this base getting up. If he can get up, say, this hatchery or this hatchery, that would be huge for him. So herO needs to potentially shut both of those down. He's moving down towards the bottom left here. If he can, well, immediate cancel. How about this one towards the, down here? I'd love to see herO section off his Void Rays. Does he have Flux Veins? Yes, he does. So they could potentially snipe a base and then recall if he's quick with them. He doesn't quite know where the Zerg army is, though. There's no revelation on it. So the Protoss is just playing it passive. He's going to actually try and take this Nexus. We see the Oracle runs right on into these Corruptors. That gets taken care of. herO's got 8 High Templar in his army, all maxed out on energy. So, I mean, it's mass spellcasters on both sides. The Protoss has got to be so careful, though. He almost needs to pre-split his army against these spells, and he's not really doing that. The Void Raids, a few of them get caught with a fungal. There's another fungal. There's the Parasitic Bomb, another fungal on top of it. herO then pulls some of his army together, so those spells are getting so much damage done. There's some of the Void Rays going down, and herO, he's got to pull these High Templar out of here. His army management is not working out for him. And Serral has successfully got up these 2 bases, which is huge. The Protoss player is building up that stronger carrier army, but then he makes more Tempest. I really don't know about the Tempest. Like, they're terrible compared to the Corruptors in a 1v1. I think I would prefer more carriers than Tempest. But, I mean, herO knows best, that's for sure. We do see, I mean, Fungal Growth, Blinding Cloud, or Parasitic Bomb once again. Looks like another fungal's going to catch the last of those Void Rays, so they really don't get anything done before dying. herO will have to replace them with carriers. He's trying to get up a Nexus, but the past couple minutes of this game have been way better for Serral than they have been for herO. And as we get more carriers building, herO, he seems to be a little impatient. Like, I'm not sure why he's poking in towards the army. He's going on to creep when he's not maxed out. He's got 3 carriers not in this army, and 3 carriers are really important. The plus 3 attack on the way is also very big. Looks like some Zealots will harass this hatchery. And yeah, this game continues on so darn close. Okay. herO is trying to get up this Nexus. It's a risky position because the Broodlords can siege this one easily, though. And he's been unable to shut down any of these other bases. Look at it. Looks like the Lurkers are a perfect defense against these few Immortals. herO, yeah, he's not going to save that Nexus. It will go down. The Tempest haven't really been getting too many pickoffs. There's one Broodlord going down. But Serral definitely has time on his side. We do see a good revelation with an Oracle, allow Immortals to come to the north and clear out the space. Serral has got a few Lurkers here. I mean, it's 5 Lurkers versus 4 Immortals. It's all going to be about the positioning, though. And that's what this game is coming down to. herO on 2,000 resources each. Serral on about 3,000 resources each. Oh man, the Infestors do catch those Immortals, though, so that's painful. I'm not sure herO wanted to throw those away, as he just replaces them with Zealots, which are not great. Looks like a couple of Lurkers do get caught, so herO is at least getting a bit of damage done to his opponent. It's going to be a while before the Broodlords and Corruptors can respond. The Infestors were seen out of position, so that's part of the reason why herO's comfortable to make this move. So he does get a base for a base. Resources lost-wise, herO is still behind by about 10,000 overall in this game, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. A couple of Immortals do take a poor walk, and now herO is feeling confident, though, as he steps forward, taking the fight to Serral. Being the initiator is so big in games of Starcraft 2 like this. We see lots of spells going down. Time Warp, Psystorm galore on the Broodlords and Corruptors. herO's got to be careful not to take this too far, though, as we see Abducts go down. No Neural Parasites, though. I think herO may want to cut his losses with this one and get on out of there. Instead, he's going to try and go forward. He warped in Stalkers to help out. There is still plenty of Broodlords on the ground, though. Army supply is vastly in favor of his opponent. Stalkers maybe trying to get an Infestor, but they do get fungled down. High Templar are wandering forward. There's one big Psystorm going down. herO's attacking on in. There's like 5 carriers left in the mix. No more Psystorm. The Tempest are doing what they can. We see a recall get utilized just on the carriers as herO tries to save what he can. He figures the Tempest can maybe take on the Corruptors, and they may be able to, but not if the Infestors get involved. and that's exactly what we're seeing here. herO, he tried to take the best fight that he could. It started out okay, and then I think it went to after that, and I'm not sure it was enough that the Protoss needed. He needs to be sniping bases. He's got a bunch of High Templar warping in down there. He's just frantically trying to hold on. He knows that he needs this base alive still, as he's pretty darn broke. Batteries and cannons are healing these carriers and Tempest, but not enough against the mass Corruptors. This is what Corruptors do to Tempest, and that is why herO is in a really rough spot. He's warped in a bunch of Stalkers, realizing, right, there's no way I can beat that ground composition. herO's just long distance mining with his probes, gonna try and kill off this hatchery as he loses a base. Serral's on basically no bases himself. I mean, herO did get these 2 bases during all that. This base here isn't mining. Serral's preemptively evacuating it, getting workers down to somewhere they can actually mine at this building base. So Serral will not be able to kill herO just yet, as he's moving to this slippery style. The Blink Stalkers, the High Templar. I mean, there's no way that herO can deal with these Broodlords and Lurkers, though, with this composition, unless he takes an amazing fight. But, like, High Templar are good support units. They need more... Well, they're a key component in an army, but unfortunately Stalkers alone don't make an army. The Protoss is long-distance mining. He's got 1 base mining towards the top right. I mean, this long-distance mining is not insignificant when we look at the income of Serral. But if Serral gets up that base, that would be really big for him. Stalkers killing off Changelings, very slow. It's just the little things at this point in the game. Income is definitely in the lead for herO at this point in the game. He's got to be careful with these High Templar, though. As the... Oh, man, he's got to be so careful. In comes Serral towards the top. He knows there's mining going on here, and he wants to shut it down, and rightfully so. There's 1 Corruptor caustic spraying on buildings, more of a scout than anything. Oracle going to drop a revelation on this army. Probes are going to know they need to run away. Unfortunately, herO needs to defend this top right, and he needs to get some more mining or attacking going on at this point in the game. Where are those Stalkers? Okay, they're in the main base killing off the 1 Corruptor, which is good, but not enough. And both players are on similar incomes. It's so close. I mean, herO's still in a rough spot, though. Serral has played a masterclass of a defense. The Protoss player, he's going to be relying on really big Psystorms when there is a fight. He's got a decent number of Archons spending his gas bank, and the Stalkers are moving in, but oh no, there's Burrow. Oh man, Serral utilizing the Burrow to hold position on the Lurkers, a key ability for them. Kills off supply that herO cannot easily replace. This is going to goad herO into attacking, but there's a Broodlord line. We do see some feedbacks and Psystorms going down, but pretty much all the High Templar got caught in a fungal. herO has got like 4 High Templar left. The fungal will probably kill the remaining ones. There's literally 1 High Templar left, and I think herO has pretty much run out of steam in this game. It just got away from him, but out of all the Zergs to let a game slip through your fingers against, Serral is understandably the one when it comes to the late game, and he just understands it so well. The math of, okay, when do I need to take a base? When do I need to kill a base? It's really there for Serral, as just even thinking of transferring the drones to a base down here ahead of time really caught herO out. herO, I think he needed to keep playing the sort of base snipey game instead of looking for the big fights, which is understandably scary against Serral, because you want to kill him when you get the chance, but now we're seeing Serral just utilize his infestors incredibly well, as he's done all game. That's going to be it. GG.